All right, Cjax dropped a double video, so we're gonna react to two videos from Cjax. So, I'm gonna try my best not to make this too long. So, we're gonna go ahead and get started with this video, and we'll see what he has to say about Triple H. But he also have a video talking about WrestleMania. So we're gonna go ahead and get started with the Triple H video.
You ready for garbage? Fina. Triple H doesn't know what he's doing. I'm the big guy. My shoulders are up to my ears. I can't book. Man, Triple H has decided to actually call out the fans and disrespect the fans openly. So your boy, Cjax, has to make a video about this because this is absolutely ridiculous, okay? Now, I just want to point out something. Last week, I made a video saying that WWE and Triple H do not truly care about the fans. And now you follow it up a week later. Triple H has been doing, obviously, all the podcasts and the media runs, considering the fact that this is Mania week. A lot of interviews and podcasts and segments are going to be coming out with a lot of WWE superstars and talent, people behind the scenes, etc. We know how this works. However, in a recent interview with Andrew Schultz, they're saying the dude who was on the who's been doing podcasts for years, and he also was on Raw a few weeks ago with Logan Paul in New York. He said, this is what Triple H said word for word: the internet isn't real. The B wording, like B word, ing, gotta keep it PG, you know what I'm saying? Hit my music, who's, yee, you know what I'm saying? But listen, he says that the B wording, the moaning and complaining isn't real. The internet isn't real, okay? For example, Cody Rhodes has allegedly run his course according to the internet, but we have 15K people chanting for him in the arena. So let me get this straight. Because Triple H has no idea what he's talking about. I'm going to explain why. Anyone who has a complaint or a critique of the product is apparently not real. So the thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of people that have complained about WWE over the years, when Vince was in his bad era of booking and when Triple H is doing what he's doing now in this Mania build, all the vocal outrage about how bad the Mania build is and things of that nature, those people and those complaints are not real. That is what Triple H is saying to the fans who are watching his product. You have 15K in the arena, and you have 3 million watching it worldwide, and you're going to sit here and tell me that the fans that are outside of the arena, or that are online watching it on the internet, which, through streaming, Netflix, whatever, on Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, those people aren't real because they're critiquing your product. Do you understand how big of an ego you have to not take any criticism? That is ridiculous. And you know how I know the internet is real and the WWE fan base online does matter is because of the fact of multiple things. Let me just list this out to you, okay? Number one, okay, last year we had the We Want Cody movement. If it wasn't for the We Want Cody movement and the massive dislikes on the Rock and Roman segment and all that stuff, we would have never gotten to the point of WWE having to be forced to shift their story and shift their narrative and give the fans what they wanted, which was Cody to win the championship and to fight Roman Reigns in night 2 of Mania 40. The Yes movement with Daniel Bryan. You have Triple H. There's been multiple reports and rumors online from valid wrestling news sources saying that Triple H constantly monitors online reaction to shows and segments, usually as the shows are happening. And he's out here always bragging about social media viewership. When Cena turned heel, it was, this moment has 400 million views on social media. Well, the internet isn't real, right? So why does it matter? Because, again, here's the truth. Triple H's ego can't take any criticism. So if you talk bad on WWE or critique the garbage product in this awful Mania build that we've been getting, you're not real. But if you support, though, and your views count, and your support counts, but anytime you critique or anything like that, you're not real. You're fake. What kind of stuff is that, man? What kind of stuff is that? The internet is not real when it's convenient for WWE and Triple H's BS corporate narrative. That's the truth about the situation. The WWE and Triple H, they would rather bash the fans and go at the fans than accept the fact that their product has been garbage for months. Their egos are that big. That's what we're in right now. You understand this stuff? They would rather bash fans and ignore criticism before admitting that they're wrong. It is embarrassing at this point. Triple H is an absolute fraud and a liar and a manipulator now.
Hey, man, how you feel about Triple H is how I feel about Liv Morgan. I mean, shoot. You call him a fraud and a liar and a manipulator. I mean, shoot. Sounds a little bit familiar to me.
And he is a terrible booker as of the last year. And the crazy thing about all this is that Triple H has brain rotted these fans and manipulated these fans, brainwashed them into saying things now like, oh, well, if you don't like it, don't watch. If you don't like it, don't watch. WWE is cooking. Papa H is cooking. Blah, 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 blah. You're morons. You're brainwashed hive mind bots. That's the truth that we have to realize about this stuff. You understand that? If I go to a Wendy's and my nuggets come out raw and I bring it back to the counter and tell them, hey, these nuggets are dry, they're raw, whatever the heck, my burger's raw, it's not good, you missed the toppings, whatever the heck, right? And you mean to tell me that the guy at the front desk is just going to say, hey, man, you're just complaining, you're just moaning, take the burger and shut up and eat it. That's what Triple H just said to the fans in WWE terms. Are you kidding me right now? And I'm supposed to sit here and be like, oh, well, if you don't like it, don't watch. No. Give me good content. How about that? Maybe look at what you're doing and those mistakes that you're making rather than being worried about the criticism that you're receiving. That's what you need to do, I just don't understand this soft mindset. No one you can't critique anything anymore. You can't. If you critique it, you're not real. If you watch it and support it, though, you're real. And then again, if you start critiquing again, then you're not real again. So you just keep on switching between being real and not real. You keep on switching like you're invisible and then all of a sudden you're tangible again. It's just stupid. It's a nonsensical, defense mechanism that WWE has. And that's just what it is. All these people don't know what they're talking about anymore, man, with Triple H and all these people don't know what they're doing. You're bashing your own fan base for critiquing your garbage product and then blaming it on the fans for not being real, quote unquote. What kind of stuff is that? And not even with WWE, but just in general. You cannot get better at something, usually at least, unless you're actually being critiqued or told what you need to improve on or shown somehow, some way that, hey, I need to fix this, or maybe you realize yourself, hey, I need to change this or improve this. That is the truth of just how things work. You understand? So how in the world, look, the fans hated the big dog version of Roman Reigns, right? You had half the crowd booing and half the crowd cheering, whatever the heck, people on the internet were upset, and ultimately you got Tribal Chief Roman, which transcended the business and actually grew it a little bit and developed it and made it slightly better than what it was in the late, 2010s, or way better than it was, I guess, in the late 2010s, you know what I'm saying? I guess in certain aspect, I guess. And then now, obviously, it's going back down because it's sucking now because Triple H is bad booker. But that's not the point. Cody Rhodes is the same thing. If the fans weren't bashing Stardust and all these other stupid gimmicks that he was doing, we would not get the American Nightmare version of Cody Rhodes that fans like today. John Cena, the same thing. He came out in his red tights, was an absolute jobber on the verge of being fired. Fans backlash. Boom, you got John Cena. Same thing happened with The Rock. It's the same thing. You can't become great unless you get criticized. It's as simple as that. That's just how it works. Things have to change. You have to get pointed out, hey, this needs to fix, this needs to change. But nah, with Triple H, we're not real. We're just saying stuff, man. We're just talking shop. But when we say something positive, though, you're real, you're awesome, you're lovely, man. You go, dude.
Like I said, how you feel about Triple H is how I feel about Liv Morgan.
And I've seen multiple posts about this on X, and this is something that's been brought to my attention. The truth is that this is the first Mania season without any of Vince McMahon's storylines from his end of his era. You know what I'm saying? So, for example, the Cody finished the story thing started under Vince. The Bloodline started over Vince. Those are the two main things for Mania. We can stop there. You know what I'm saying? Seth Rollins was a star built up by Vince McMahon. Same with The Rock, obviously, okay, and things of that nature. And these are the people who anchored and helped make Mania last year as great as it truly was. And now you stray away from that, okay? And you have no Bloodline story to fall back on. You don't have any finish the story narratives. You don't have any built-up stories from Vince McMahon, the stuff with Rhea turning on the Judgment Day, joining the Judgment Day, all that stuff, turning on Edge, all of that other stuff, right? You have none of that. None of it! And look at the Mania build that you are getting. Off of Triple H's booking strictly alone, the stories that he can cultivate and that he's telling. It's ridiculous, and it is awful. And I know it's awful, because at the end of last year's Mania, when Triple H was already blabbering on about Mania next year is going to be the biggest it's ever been, does it feel like Mania season yet? Shut up, man. Just shut up. Triple H at this point is an absolute the fraudulence on this guy is just insane to me at this point. I don't understand what is going on with him as a booker, as a guy, and as a when he was a superstar, an actual wrestler and performer. He seems like a really great dude when it comes to that. Well, actually, I don't know about the great dude. I don't know the guy personally. I mean, he could be a bad guy. Who knows with this stuff now? But as a performer, he was good. So it confuses me why, as a booker, you take storylines and characters cultivated by the previous dude in charge, and you somehow manage to make everybody worse. Everyone under Triple H is worse than they were under Vince McMahon, pretty much, besides maybe a couple people. A couple. And obviously, like I mentioned, there is a couple, I'm saying? There's probably going to be like multiple different people that are probably better in this Triple H, booking than they were under the Vince McMahon booking. But for the majority, right? Like I'd say 60 to 70% of the roster, in terms of their talents and their star, their star level appeal and stuff, were better under the Vince McMahon era. Roman Reigns as the Tribal Chief run mainly happened under the Vince era. Seth Rollins was cultivated in that era. CM Punk's prime was in that era. John Cena, obviously. Look at the John Cena we had and look at the John Cena we get, where he's being a second fiddle on the mic for 2 weeks and all of a sudden decides to lash out and grills Cody Rhodes on the mic. You get what I mean? All the best stars in WWE's history and their lineage have been cultivated by Vince McMahon. Where are the new stars that Triple H has cultivated? That's basically what I'm trying to say. He hasn't done anything new and hasn't developed anything new that makes these superstar talents anything greater than they already were. That's really it. It's as simple as that, man. You have a couple outliers, I'm sure, I'm saying, like maybe a Liv Morgan or somebody like that, but that's it.
Yeah, I mean, we know Liv Morgan has elevated ever since, Triple H took in charge. But however, the question is, will she continue to thrive without Dom and Raquel and Judgment Day? Because these living Dom fans are going to try to hell her back and set her backwards because they don't want to see her moving forward independent. They want her with Dom. They want her with Raquel. Some people want her with Raquel, but mostly Dom. And the question is, will she be able to move on without them? And will she be able to win championships without them? That's the question. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully that question will be answered, but we have to wait till after WrestleMania to figure it out. But until then, this is what we have to deal with. But I do agree with Cjax. I mean, most definitely Liv Morgan, but you also, well, I guess it's Liv Morgan because everybody else ain't really getting the same spark yet. But yeah, I mean, but that's just his opinion, because you also got to think about the rest. There's got to be some people that he elevated besides Liv Morgan. I mean, we can't say Rhea Ripley. I mean, we can't say Tiffany Stratton. We can't say Nia Jax. I mean, we can't say Candice LeRae because she was Speed Champion, until she lost against Sloruka, but still, she was Speed Champion. I mean, what hasn't he done, Whatever. Y'all comment down below. Let me know who you think he elevated besides Liv Morgan. Y'all comment down below. Let me know.
Everything else, I mean, everyone else was pretty much better. Or, the simple fact is that Vince McMahon simply had a better eye for talent and better eye for star power than Triple H does. And it's as simple as seeing that. Triple H hasn't built any new megastars or superstars. It's as simple as that, man. And you mean to tell me that this dude gets control over these superstars and these wrestlers and these storylines and these booking, these booking opportunities, and he makes one of the worst Mania builds of all time in the first year where he's fully had stories that he created. Just look at this card. Drew McIntyre versus Damian Priest. No one cares. Tag team match with Liv Morgan and Raquel versus Lara and Bayley. No one cares. Jey Uso versus Gunther. No one cares. No one cares about anything on this card except for John Cena versus Cody Rhodes.
Well, I care about the Fatal 4-Way match because of the storyline with the Judgment Day. So that's the reason why I'm watching WrestleMania Night 2, just because of that. So, because I want to know what's the ending going to be like. So, and who's going to win that match. So, I do care about that the most.
Maybe the Roman Reigns triple threat just because there's big names. That's it. The story here is non-existent. What? Oh, there's a favor? So now we all have to fight each other? That's all it is. There's no actual cutthroat deep promos like Cody and Cena had for this Roman Reigns and Punk feud. And that's embarrassing considering you have 3 great mic workers and 3 of your biggest stars in your company, and you cannot have one great promo segment between these 3 men where they're actually going at each other and not talking about a stupid favor. Why is this feud more about Paul Heyman than the 3 superstars that are in the match? Why? Does anyone have an answer to these questions? No, nobody has an answer because this booking is trash. And what makes no sense to me as well is that Mania seasons under Vince McMahon and Manias in general, because now we have to dive into what the actual talent is saying. Gunther was on a podcast, I mentioned this like a few days ago. Gunther was on a podcast last week with Ariel Helwani, basically saying that he wanted to fight people like Punk, Rollins, Roman, or what's his name, John Cena, you know what I'm saying, for the world title at Mania. Those are the people he wanted to feud with, okay? And now he's in a situation where he's been feuding with Jey Uso for Mania 41. And when asked how he thought about the feud, he literally had to pause for a second and say, it's been difficult to build a 10-week story, but I like what we've done over the last couple weeks. That is code word for Triple H has no idea how to build a 10-week story. But the previous guy in charge, Mr. McMahon, Vince McMahon, But the previous guy in charge, Vince McMahon, was actually able to, once the Royal Rumble ended and the Chamber ended, those respective world title feuds were both built up immediately and usually for the most time stayed engaging and stayed entertaining. You know what I'm saying? And you were really hyped for Mania because it was a big fight feel. It was a big Mania moment. It was things of that nature. What happened to that? What happened? You know, the Royal Rumble last year sucked. The Royal Rumble this year sucked. What's the change? You know, it goes to show you that Triple H has no idea what he is booking, and the talent knows it. But because they're getting so much money, and they're getting tour buses and private, flights and all this stuff, you get your catered to schedules when you're only wrestling like 15 times a year. It's a joke. This era is soft, and it's all started by Triple H and this nonsense. I don't understand how Triple H is doing all of this stuff. He was such a great wrestler and a great performer, and now look at him. Look at him as a booker. This is embarrassing. It's embarrassing, and you know it. How in the world, in the midst of Mania season, are you getting some of the lowest ratings you've had on Netflix with Raw the whole time in the last 4 months since they've been on Netflix? How? It's all happening during Mania season. This is supposed to be the best time of the year.
All right, let's do an update. So, let's see, March 31st. We all know that was kind of low. But let's see. Let's check out April. They only got the first week of April. They don't got the second week yet. So let's check it out. Oh, look at that. 2.8 million global views and 5.7 million for hour viewed. Wow. Still low. But I think it's low because John Cena ain't there. Well, wasn't there, but still, that's no excuse to be low, even if he's not there. Because when he was there, it did 2.9 million views for globally viewed. So so it's 2 million down. Mainly because John Cena wasn't there. But even when he was there, it was still below 3 mil. So yeah, man. I don't know how John Cena is going to help him get the views up, but hopefully when he wins, it'll go back up. But if it doesn't, then it's going to go down. So like it did just now. I mean, just last week. So yeah. So there's the results for that. There's the update.
It's the most wonderful time of the year. You know what I'm saying? What happened? This is supposed to be the best time of the year, and we're getting garbage instead. And the fans know it, the bookers know it, and so do Michael Cole, Pat McAfee. All these wrestlers know this stuff. There's no real stories at Mania. All these matches are Raw and SmackDown matches. Are you kidding me? Would you ever have a situation in a Vince McMahon, when he was in his prime, in his good days of booking, right up until probably like 2012 or something like that, would you ever have a situation, for example, okay, where, he had some moments too throughout the 2010s, but you get the point. You never have a situation where you have this many Raw and SmackDown matches at a Mania. I mean, goodness gracious. Damian Priest, Drew McIntyre, mid-card. I can't stop thinking about Punk, but it's a mid-card match. Nobody cares about this stuff, man. LA Knight versus Jacob Fatu. Braun Breaker in a thrown-together fatal four-way with two dudes, with Finn Balor and Dominic Mysterio, who have a combined 3 singles victories in the last 8 months, and now they're fighting for an IC title. The IC title means nothing. You don't need to beat anyone meaningful or do anything meaningful to get a shot at the belt. This is trash.
And like I said, we don't know if Dom is going to win. So if Cjax says, most likely Dom's going to win, we don't know. Okay? We said that about Rhea Rebbe, and guess what? Io Sky beat her on Raw unexpectedly. Okay? Surprisingly. So, again, we don't know. Braun Breaker could retain his title for Sheamus and Kaiser. Penta could be the first Intercontinental Champion just because, they brung him from AEW to Raw, and him winning it, is something for him and his family, and he'll have his first WrestleMania win. That could be it. Who knows? All I know is if Dom or Finn don't win, it's because of the Wyatts. So we got to come to terms with that. Okay? I understand that you guys want him to win, but we don't know. So just be humble until Sunday night, okay? Please. All right. Let's get back to the video.
You know, the mid-card belts in both divisions mean nothing. The women's US belt and the women's IC belt are not even featured in singles matches or feuds in general for Mania. For Mania! The tag team titles, a thrown together match with the New Day and War Raiders that was just made like a week and a half ago. Then you also have the Street Profits who grinded the last, 4 years and all this stuff, all this tag team, random configurations they've done to try and build the division on SmackDown, and they're not even on the card. Come on, man. The world title feud is garbage. Every single time that Jey Uso comes out and he's super serious, Gunther is lackadaisical. Then Gunther gets serious on Raw, and then Jey is lackadaisical and comes out and says, you scared, Uso? Hit my music. Yeet. Come on. This is an embarrassment. John Cena and Cody Rhodes. John Cena's been there 3 times in 6 weeks. And this is the main event of WrestleMania. Cody Rhodes when he's not there. You cannot have a Batman and Joker situation if there's no Joker. Or vice versa if there's no Batman. It doesn't work. I don't understand how this is supposed to be told to us. This is the greatest era of WWE, and Triple H is saying that the complaints and the critiques on the internet is not real. You're just complaining, you're just moaning, you're just B-wording. The internet isn't real. Shut up, man. What are you talking about? What do you alienate your fan base because you don't want to take the criticism and take the blame for the garbage content that you've been producing for the last year? It's embarrassing at this point, man. I really do hope, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, I genuinely do hope that they at least look into finding someone else to book WWE. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. I don't want Triple H to lose his job if, because he's an actual human being. I don't want any human to lose their job. But if you're not doing your job, you should be fired. He sucks at his job, and we have to start acknowledging it for what it is, and he should be fired. I don't care how many hundreds of millions you got. I don't care how many Hall of Fame speeches in the ass.
Can I ask y'all a question? If Triple H get replaced as the CCO, what's going to happen to Liv Morgan? Just wondering.
And the sponsorships and the revenue and business is booming in Travis Scott and all this nonsense. Nobody cares. I don't give a crap. If you're not doing a good job and you are not booking, engaging, and entertaining in good television, you need to be fired. This is sad, man. Nobody wants to see wrestling like this. We like wrestling. It's a great medium. It's entertaining. It's been amazing when done correctly. So why do we have to sit here and be forced to watch this trash and see this moron go out here and disrespect the fans to our faces because we don't agree with his product being good? We think it's not as good and it should be better and it can be better. And because we say that in different ways, Triple H just says, "Oh, you're not real. You're just moaning and complaining." What? So do you ever make any mistakes at all then? I mean, what? The whole thing is just dumb. The whole thing is dumb, and we're seeing it in front of our faces. You have a situation where this new soft culture of WWE has been built. The wrestlers barely have to wrestle. They have no incentive to actually improve themselves on the mic or in the ring. Once they get to the main roster, people come up from NXT, they have no incentive to do anything except for, the few that are actually good. But there is zero demand and zero, asking for excellence. One thing Triple H has said about Vince McMahon in recent podcasts is that Vince McMahon always demanded great content from his talent and great performances. And even when they gave great performances, he was still looking for more than that because he was constantly striving for greatness and trying to figure out any way to get it. Now, Triple H said it himself, it's a more lackadaisical thing where if things aren't good one week or they're bad one week or they're good one week, whatever the heck happens, the Triple H just has a conversation. He's like, well, we'll just try it again next week. Well, we'll just go again next week. That's not a good mindset to have. Address the issue. How do we fix the issue? And next week, let's go ahead and improve this issue. Let's go ahead and build a new story or develop a story that's already existing and make sure that we have a great program for this show or for this PLE or for this Mania. That is what you're supposed to do as a booker. You should always be demanding greatness from your talents. You don't need to overwork them like Vincent. He made some mistakes. He overworked some talent and did all that stuff. And I understand that he's made multiple mistakes. But the reason that WWE has gotten to where it is now cannot happen without Vince McMahon. So we need to stop praising Triple H like he's some savior, some legend, which he is as a performer. He's not, I don't know if he is. Yeah, he is as a performer. I'll give him that. You know what I'm saying? But still, this is absolutely asinine to sit here and praise this guy when this is the type of stuff that he's doing. They're taking more money than ever from these fans going to these shows, charging $8,000 for third row seats for WrestleMania 41 to watch Jey Uso beat Gunther in the fourth match they've had. It's a Raw match. Come on, man. Why do we have to do this? This is sad. Triple H needs to be fired. Find someone new who can book and create engaging programs and have good year-round television, or at least solid year-round television. Not every episode is going to be good. We know this. And Triple H has had some great PLEs, he's had some great Raws, and he's had some great SmackDowns. But for every single one of those moments, he's had a double the amount of bad moments. And that's just what it is. And it's just a fact at this point. We have to accept it. And I'm just I cannot believe that this is happening. And they're taking pot shots at the fans for stuff that they're critiquing. Are you kidding me? What kind of business, what kind of owner, what kind of leader, quote unquote, does that? Oh, the fans are just complaining. You know, if you go to McDonald's and you bring the burger back to them and you're like, hey, man, I don't like this burger. You know, you guys got the toppings wrong. You know, I didn't like it. Maybe it's raw or something like that. They made a mistake. You tell them that. And imagine they just tell you in your face, you're just complaining and moaning. Shut up. You know, you're not real. Just go eat the burger. Really? Are you kidding me? Who the heck are you to tell your fans that? You know, it's just, this guy, man, I tell you, bro, Triple H is such a fraud. We might have to make another part 2 to the vid I made last week calling this dude a fraud, because it may not have been enough. But with that being said, the proof is in the pudding, and the facts are what the facts are. Triple H sucks at booking, and this is why the viewership is down, the intrigue is down, they'll say the profits are down. WWE reported a profit loss for the first quarter of this year, and as all that's happening, the complaints are going up. The critiques are going up, and guess what's going to happen? After this Mania season, when we're having one of the deadest summers of all time in WWE history, everyone's going to be looking around for answers. We need to fire Triple H. We need to move on. And guess what? You're not going to get anything but a guy sitting with his shoulders up to his ears trying to tell you how great WWE is, because WWE is going to continue to die if Triple H continues to book like this and doesn't wake up and do something different and starts actually showing some respect to the fans. Now, with that being said, I thank you guys for watching. Have a phenomenal day, and peace out, and be ready for another upload coming a little bit later today. We lock it in. You know what I'm saying? If WWE doesn't want to make it feel like Mania season, I'm going to make it feel like Mania season. You dig? So enjoy the ride that Cjax is taking you on. Thank you for watching. Have a phenomenal day. Peace out, and I'll see you later. One love.
All right, so this is the part 2 of the rant where he speaks more about Triple H, but he also talks about John Cena winning the WrestleMania 41, where he tiled that John Cena must win at WrestleMania 41. And, you know, he's really still talking about Triple H, but he's also talking about why John Cena should win against Cody because of what is in store for this year of his retirement and him winning his 17th championship. So let's go ahead and get started on what he has to say about Hunter and what he has to say about John Cena winning at WrestleMania. Let's go.
Yeah. Hit my musicals. Yeet. Your boy Cjax is back. We got a double upload locking in today, okay? Because at the end of the day, if WWE doesn't want to make it feel like Mania season, your boy Cjax will. So sit back and enjoy the ride that Cjax is taking you on. Now, this video, we are going to be talking about the fact that John Cena must win at WrestleMania 41. Okay, this has to happen. This is easily the most important match in WWE, like, probably since Roman and Cody last year. I almost said in the history, but it's not in the history, you know. It's one of the more important matches. But the fact is, this is easily the most important thing they've done since the Roman and Cody storyline for Mania 40. This match has stakes and it has weight. And there are multiple reasons as to why, which I'll discuss. But this isn't negotiable. At WrestleMania 41 in the Night 2 main event, whether by hook or by crook, whether it's clean or not clean, you know, whether you love it, you hate it, you like it, you don't like it, shut your mouth and enjoy the ride. The Rock is taking you on, you know. But anyways, as I was saying, okay, the truth is John Cena needs to win this match. We already know this. It's not a negotiation. It's not an opinion. It needs to happen. It is a fact. It is necessary to save this dead product, okay? The viewership during Mania season is experiencing record low numbers for Raw on Netflix and low numbers for USA on SmackDown on USA for WWE, okay? This is just the facts. I'm not giving you feelings, I'm giving you facts, okay? The truth is that this is where the company is. Now, the only way to potentially get out of that is by riding the success and the coattails of your top stars. Your Roman Reigns, your CM Punks, your John Cena's, you know, when The Rock shows up, you have him, etc. Guys like Seth Rollins, etc. Those are the type of people you need to be banking on in this current time. And quite frankly, Cody Rhodes would be considered one of those real top guys, you know, the true faces of the industry and stuff like that, if he was that great. but he's not. Cody Rhodes' championship reign, along with Triple H's horrendous booking over the last year since Mania 40, has resulted in some of the worst WWE content I've ever seen, and it's now resulted in arguably the worst, if not one of the worst Mania builds of all time with WrestleMania 41. This is unacceptable. We've had enough of Cody Rhodes coming out there and good, I respect you, I love you, I need you, and everyone has to constantly glaze Cody Rhodes, and Triple H has to glaze him, Gunther has to glaze him, Randy Orton has to come out there and do a 15-minute segment dedicated to praising Cody and being proud of Cody and saying he loves him and he's great and Cody's done things way beyond Orton could ever imagine. It's all glazing. We haven't seen any fruits of this talking. You understand? Cody's been champ now for over 365 days, over a year now. You understand? And since that's happened, he hasn't done anything of meaning. You cannot name me 3 great promos or great segments that Cody Rhodes has had since becoming the WWE champion. He hasn't done anything. The matches themselves, he's had, 7 title defenses in over a year as champion, as a full-time competitor. This is not acceptable. You understand that Roman Reigns was averaging the same amount of titles. He's probably averaging, when Roman Reigns was there as a full-timer, he was averaging way more title defenses than Cody's having right now. So why in the world does Roman Reigns, as a part-time performer, already have in 4 years, right, with his part-time schedule, he has, probably 4 or 5 times the title defenses that Cody has as a full-time competitor in an entire year? It doesn't make sense. The merits of this title reign were sold that he was going to be a fighting champion. He was going to be there every week. He's going to do this and do that and elevate the company and introduce this new amazing era that was going to be better than the Attitude Era. It was going to rival the Attitude Era. And look what we've gotten. We've gotten nothing. He doesn't cut good promos. He usually says the same thing. And quite frankly, any promo that Cody cuts that's average or decent gets said that it's great, but it's not. Cody Rhodes has cut multiple decent promos over the last year, but how many genuinely great, amazing segments has he had? Because if you look at Roman's reign, you can find at least 15 to 20 of a minimum, and he wasn't even showing up every week. So there's no reason why in this reign that was touted to be one of the best ever, the new era ushering in all this stuff, amazing full-timer fighting champion, for him to not be a fighting champion, and for him to also not be giving us amazing segments consistently month to month is embarrassing. And because of that, we now have to call on the help of a 47-year-old John Cena to come back in his final year in pro wrestling and save this company. Because quite frankly, John Cena is the only one they have right now who's probably going to have a belt after Mania, because I think he's going to win this match and he should win this match. We'll explain why I think he's going to win in a second. But the fact is, John Cena is the last chance they have in the world title scene as far as currently constructed to carry this company the rest of this year at least, or through the summer. The summer of 2024 was atrocious. You had 5 match card PLEs that were garbage. You had bad feuds. The Liv Morgan and Rhea feud was hot for 3 weeks. The match happened at SummerSlam, and then it began to become garbage the rest of the year. You had the situation with Cody Rhodes feuding with Solo in the Bloodline. It was trash. It was trash, and you know it. The Intercontinental title scene was mid. The tag team divisions were non-existent, etc. The summer was not good at all.
I don't know. I kind of like SummerSlam. I thought Summer was pretty dope. The only thing I can't even remember a time I don't like it. The only thing I just didn't like about SummerSlam was that kiss. But other than that, I thought SummerSlam was pretty good. But every time I think about SummerSlam, I think about the betrayal with Damian and the betrayal of Rhea. That's all I can remember. Everything else I don't remember like that. I'm pretty sure you guys will feel the same way. But nah, I thought SummerSlam was okay. I don't know. I feel like the bookings was okay until I don't know. I feel like last year was okay. You know what I'm saying? The bookings last year was okay. We had so many memorable moments. If you think about it, I thought SummerSlam was the reason why we even got caught up in the first place. Shoot. I started my YouTube channel after SummerSlam, but I started it around September, and my first video was about the Judgment Day. But see, what encouraged me, I should make a video talking about it. Like, what encouraged me to get on YouTube was when the Judgment Day laid out the Terror Twins. When that happened, that encouraged me to get on YouTube, because I felt like I needed to say something, because I just felt like that segment was was foul. I thought it was weak. Just because, after, Liv Morgan was trying to save Dom from getting, body slammed on the table by Rhea. I just felt like, it didn't make sense to me to see Liv Morgan hit Rhea with a chair and try to push her into the pole. Like, I feel like Rhea helped her with that when she did that, because I'm like, there's no way Liv Morgan can push a heavyweight to the pole. Like, I just think that I'm pretty sure Rhea helped her doing that, because there's just no way, like, oh, you hit her with a chair and then you just push her. That I'm sorry, but I mean, the weight due by size. Like, I just assumed that. No. It just when Liv Morgan did that, I was just kind of like, yeah, this is. I could just tell Rhea helped her doing that, because there's just like, okay, you hit Rhea with a chair, and you push her to the pole like that. I could just tell that was. There was a little bit of assistance behind the scenes. So, and I just feel like that beatdown was weak as hell. You know what I'm saying? And you probably wonder why she needed Raquel, because she knows that Raquel can do that on her own. Like, Liv Morgan can't do that on her own. You know what I'm saying? Like, to me, that was just a little assistance right there. But, because, there's just no way I could see Liv Morgan doing something like that to Rhea, which, how strong she is. So, it's just like the January 6th match where, Liv Morgan, did the Three Amigos, and not only that, when she tried to do the Hurricane Rana on her, because the first time she couldn't do it, and the second time she was able to, which I did a reaction video, by the way, on there. You can check it out on YouTube. It's pinned. I mean, not on YouTube. Check it out on Twitter, because it's pinned on there. So if you guys go check it out, it's on there. So yeah, I have no issues with SummerSlam or Bad Blood or Crown Jewel or War Games or Saturday Night's Main Event. I mean, shoot, I felt like last year was okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, yeah, I feel like last year was good. Because it got us talking. You know what I'm saying? It's just when it got to 2025, after January the 6th, that's when we all start looking at the bookings like, okay, maybe Triple H should just sit out on this one and just have somebody else take his place on that. So I don't have an issue with last year. I really didn't. Everyone on the internet said, Crown Jewel sucked. But if it sucked, then why Liv Morgan become double champion? You know how you all say that, oh, nobody can be double champion? Well, Liv Morgan was the only one that was double champion while everybody else couldn't be. So, and Cody Rhodes too. Like, even Cody Rhodes, double champion. They both are double champions, while everybody else can't be double champion. So we can't have Lyra be double champion just this one time until Backlash. But we can have Liv Morgan be double champion and Crown Jewel, including Cody Rhodes. That's not fair. I mean, I understand the Crown Jewel belt, you can't walk around with it, but neither is the Speed Champion. You know what I'm saying? Neither is the Speed Championship. Like, you win that belt, cool, but you can't walk around with it. The only time you can is if you're in the Speed program or competing in the Speed. Yeah, like, so that's the only time you have the belt. Other than that, you can't walk around with it. So it's just like Crown Jewel. You want it, but you can't keep it. So, but you can compete with it. So even though Liv Morgan's not champion anymore, she's still Crown Jewel champion. And if Cody loses the belt this weekend, he's still champion, whether y'all want to believe it or not. So, again, I think Crown Jewel was great. Great for Liv Morgan, great for Cody Rhodes, great for Nia Jax, great for Gunther. Randy Orton and Kevin Owens. Even Carmelo Hayes, because he was in the triple threat match with LA Knight. And of course, Seth Rollins and Bronson Reed. And then we had the Bloodline versus, like, OG Bloodline versus the new Bloodline. I thought the Crown Jewel was great. You know what I'm saying? And then people just hating on it now. I don't see nothing to hate on. I mean, I thought it was pretty great. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, War Games, I mean, look. When I think back, every time I think about War Games, I think about the women's War Games match. It's memorable to me. The Bloodline versus the new Bloodline, that's memorable to me. I think War Games was great. Every time I look back at it, I'd be like, damn, this is a historical moment. And the reason why is because we had Nia Jax and Liv Morgan teaming up, Raquel and Tiffany and Candice teaming up. I thought that was a great tag team. Sometimes I look back and I'd be like, dang, I wish they could tag team again. Even though they did, it's SmackDown, but the problem was Raquel couldn't team up. But that was a reunion right there. And then, of course, Rhea team up with Bianca and Naomi again. But we didn't have Bayley and we didn't have Io Sky. And Tiffany didn't team up with them. And that was the only problem that I had about that match, is that Tiffany didn't team up. And neither did Raquel. I didn't like that. 6-women tag team match. No, we need 4 versus 4. But that was this year. You dig? So, yeah, everything was good last year, and then until this year came, and then that's when things, and after January the 6th, that's when things sucked. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. But that's it on that. Let's get back to the video. But no, 2024 was good. It's just 2025 is just like, yeah, we're not starting a good year, aren't we? Nope.
It just wasn't. And you follow that up later this year. The end of 2024 was just mid. It's just mid. The summer was bad. I'd say the end of 2024 was just mid/bad. Then you had this Mania build. This Mania build from top to bottom, we've already hashed out enough. This Mania build is atrocious. It is a monstrosity. And if you look at what's coming after this Mania, you're likely going to have no Cody. Cody's probably going to take a break like Roman did last year, after he lost his long championship reign. He's going to take a break. Cody will take a break. Roman's going to probably take his break too. He's already been rumored for a couple weeks now to be taking a couple months break after this WrestleMania 41. You're going to probably have Jey Uso as your World Heavyweight Champion. So he's going to be the spearhead in the main attraction, quote unquote, of whatever show he's on between Raw or SmackDown. He'll probably get moved to SmackDown and Cena will be on Raw. And you're going to have Cena as your champion. But for the first month of Cena's reign, he's probably going to be a heavy part-timer until like June, July, August kind of days. And because of that, you now have nothing to look forward to in this summer. Nothing except for Cena's title reign. What are you looking forward to? Drew McIntyre ain't winning a world title gold. Gunther's not winning a world title gold. And you also know that I can't stop thinking about Punk. Cody's not going to be winning anything too because he just had the belt for a year. Barring the fact that he lost, obviously, at Mania 41, that he's going to lose, I should say. Roman Reigns ain't going to be there. Seth Rollins, what is he going to be doing? There's nothing on paper now to look forward to besides John Cena having a Summer of Cena run with him feuding with Punk maybe, feuding with Orton for Backlash next month, or feuding with Roman Reigns for SummerSlam, or maybe even the biggest thing, which is elevating and putting other talent into the major spotlight and setting the stage for new people to come up and take the reins after he's done, after Roman's done and Punk's done, Seth's done, all obviously, all people like that. That is what Cena can do. He has the power to uplift dudes like Braun Breaker or Logan Paul, even put him in the main event scene, Carmelo Hayes, etc. That is why Cena is so important. And so if you have Cena, which will be the only reason, arguably, probably this summer, to tune into wrestling and to actually see the show week to week and see what's developing with him in his final, 8 months of wrestling as WWE champion too, he's going to be, which would be great. That is the only way you can save this year because the trajectory for everything else is garbage and we're seeing it in front of our face. If you cannot build a successfully good Mania season and in the best of what's supposed to be the most hype and best time of the year, if your viewership is experiencing record low numbers on both shows, then that means that you cannot build for Mania and for big moments. So if you can't build for a Mania, why would I expect you to be able to build for a SummerSlam? You get what I mean? You're riding the coattails of Cena, and that's all you can do. All you can do is ride the coattails of Cena, Roman, and Punk, and that's all you got. So now that Cena is potentially going to win this championship, which I think he is, because he's now advertised for the Raw and the SmackDown after WrestleMania 41, and John Cena is, what's it called? He has like, I don't even know how many dates he has left this year, maybe like 25 or something, between 25 and 30, and he obviously has only been here like 5 times so far this year, maybe 6 times. So John Cena is clearly saving his dates for the second half of this year, and that second half is coming up at the end of May and the start of June. So I see the plan here, I see the mission, and that's why John Cena, we just have to see what he does with his championship reign. I think it's going to be great, but the supporting cast around him that needs to, make things interesting while he's not there needs to be great, because while Cena and Roman and maybe even Cody or Punk or Rollins, whoever the heck has taken time off and just isn't there consistently and has no main event level feuds, you guys like Jey Uso as world champion, Dominic Mysterio, who will likely be your Intercontinental champion, Jacob Fatu.
I wish you would stop saying that, bro. We don't know if Dom is going to win. We don't know. Stop listening to the internet. We don't know if Dom is going to win, all right? The internet's just talking, all right? We don't know, all right? People thought John Cena was going to win the Royal Rumble until they find out it was Jey Uso, all right? People thought that Rhea was going to retain her title until, we found out it was Io Sky. So we don't know, all right? Just cut it out, man. Damn. We don't know. Just wait till Sunday, bro. Just wait till Sunday. Calm down.
With your U.S. belt, etc. Those are the type of people who are going to need to save be the supporting cast of WWE in the meantime. And I do not trust them to do so, because I do not trust Triple H, who is in charge, to do so. His booking has been bad. He books everybody with a 50-50 booking, so all these matches, you have jobbers matching up well with main event level guys or world champions. Like Gunther's having 10 to 15 minute struggle matches versus Otis, who's had maybe 3 televised matches in the last 400 days. You get what I mean? It's not acceptable. You have situations where the women's division is awful. It's embarrassing, man. The tag team divisions in both divisions are trash and treated poorly, hence why New Day gets thrown on the card. Liv Morgan and Raquel get thrown on the card as a consolation prize for Liv's great year she had last year. And the Street Profits and the Motor City Machine Guns and DIY and all these tag teams who, have been jobbing out and doing all this nonsense on SmackDown the last 3 months to build the division, they're not even on the card either. Carmelo Hayes does all the stuff he did last year, he's not on the card. Sheamus did everything he did last year on Raw, he's not on the card. So you mean to tell me that Triple H has not successfully, and also, the Women's U.S. Champion and the Women's IC Champion are not even on singles matches on this card for Mania. So that means that they're not important. So the tag team divisions in both divisions aren't important. The mid-card belts aren't important. Hence why Braun Breaker is the IC champ, going against 3 dudes who have done and contributed and won nothing over the last year. Dominic Mysterio has, 1 televised victory in 8 months. Finn Balor has 2 or 3 singles matches that are televised victories over the last 8 or 9 months as well. And then Penta beat who? Pete Dunne and Ludwig, and now he's fighting for an IC belt. The belts mean nothing. LA Knight's U.S. title reign was great, the first one, and then all of a sudden he loses it to Shinsuke, who has an awful reign and kills the mid-card on SmackDown, and now we're trying to slowly revive it, but it isn't working that well. And now Jacob Fatu's probably going to get it, and then he's going to feud with Solo, who might get it. It's not going to work. Both mid-cards suck, okay? You have a WWE champion in Cena, who's probably about to be part-time. Jey Uso, I got to see what's going to happen with that world title reign. I'm not confident in it at all, and the tag team divisions in both divisions are terrible. So in what world is the rest of this year going to be any good unless the booking changes, or unless Cena's title reign manages to carry the rest of this year, or CM Punk or Roman, when they do show up, actually end up building some amazing storylines and providing some hype and intrigue into this company? You have nothing to lean on but your top stars, and specifically your WWE champion, your captain of the industry, the North Star of the industry. I respect you, Cena. I love you, John Cena. I need you, John Cena. You know what I'm saying? That's what you have to lean on. So if that doesn't work, then you are screwed. So not only does John Cena need to win this match at WrestleMania 41, okay, but the fact is John Cena does not need to win this match clean. The Rock is obviously going to get involved. You have to somehow justify the fact that Cena sold out to this guy. If you sold out to The Rock, you need The Rock to give him something in return. So he either needs to help him win the championship, or do something, shaky or shenanigan-esque to help John Cena get over and win that belt, or do something crazy. That's what needs to happen, because Stone Cold's going to be in Vegas for this Mania weekend, so we know he's going to probably show up and have a standoff with The Rock at Mania 41. That'll be the big, massive moment similar to last year when Taker, Cena, and Rock showed up.
All right, guys, I want to take a break for a second. It come to find out that Alexa Bliss is teasing to plan her return at WrestleMania 41. So I know people are thinking that Alexa Bliss is going to miss WrestleMania, but I believe that WrestleMania is going to be Alexa Bliss' appearance. I do believe that she's going to pull up, and I do believe that she's either going to cost the Judgment Day the titles or she's going to, come after. So I just want to show you, what it looks like, okay? All right, let's get back to the video. But, yeah, I do believe Alexa Bliss will be at WrestleMania 41. If you read the paragraph, you will see that that's what's most likely going to happen, okay? I just want to let y'all know. So be aware that Alexa Bliss will pull up at WrestleMania 41, and it's gonna be crazy, man. I can't wait to see Liv Morgan's face when she see Alexa Bliss. All right, I do believe Alexa Bliss is gonna pull up. All you gotta do is read this article and check out my video on YouTube, and you'll see that Alexa Bliss will come back. Okay. She gonna be on Liv Morgan's ass, bro. Cause Lord. Cause Lord, words, boy. Lord. Liv Morgan like, stand by my words. And Alexa Bliss is like, run. I can't wait, bro. I can't wait. And I can't wait for Stand and Deliver. I can't wait. That's my WrestleMania right there. But let's get back to the video.
Up during the main event, and Seth Rollins came out in the Shield gear. That is going to be their equivalent. That's probably going to be their massive, go home big time moment for this Mania 41. That'll be the big marquee memorable moment. And then obviously the other memorable moment will be Cena hoisting his 17th championship. But if that does not happen, we are going to get another year of the same Cody Rhodes garbage, the same Stardust trash that we've been getting for the last year. The last year of full of, a bunch of nonsense with, garbage ads of Wheatley, so good I drink it neatly, and hearing about libations and respect and love and care and satiate and denotate and, libate, it's like all these random words and dialogues and these boring feuds and bad segments and bad storytelling from Cody's title reign and bad booking from Triple H. And that's not acceptable. All the while he's not wrestling consistently at all, which is a quote unquote fighting champion that's not wrestling. It's not acceptable. John Cena is not only the option to win this match at Mania 41, he is the only option for the outcome for this match at Mania 41. And if he does not win that WWE Championship, and the final shot isn't him standing next to The Rock with the 17th championship hoisted up, or Cena standing alone with his new spinner, him bringing back the spinner belt, maybe whatever, then this company is doomed. Doomed for extinction and doomed for disasters coming in the rest of this year, and it's as simple as that. It is a fact, not a feeling. You understand? Triple H lies, Cody Rhodes lies, WWE lies, but the numbers don't, and John Cena don't. Cody Rhodes and Triple H's egos outmatch their ability, and the only way to somehow override that is by having the top dog, big match John, GOAT level John. You know what I'm saying? You can't see me, John. To go in there, win the championship at Mania 41, and have a massive, massive moment where he actually holds the 17th championship and makes history. That's what needs to happen, and that's the way I feel about it. So, with that being said, that's going to wrap it up for the double upload day. I appreciate you guys, and I respect you guys, and I thank you so much for your support. Have a phenomenal day. Thank you for watching. Peace out. And with everybody saying, Cjax spits facts. Yeah, one love.
All right, guys, before I end the video, I just want to say congratulations to Samoa Joe for becoming the AEW World Trio Tag Team Champions with Katsunori on the right and Will Hobbs on the left. So congratulations to those three men. Shout out to Swerve Strickland. Shout out to Widow for helping them win the match. And, shout out to the Young Bucks, because they were out there, too, and trying to help Death Riders win, but that didn't work. But, yeah, man, gotta love AEW, man. You gotta love it. I know y'all hate it, but I love it. And I can't wait. I can't wait for Swerve Strickland to be AEW World Champion. And, also, Mercedes, she won. And I will be doing a reaction video to this match later on today. But however, she won the tournament. And whoever she be facing, whether it's Jimmy Hayter or Chris Stanlander, we'll see about that either Saturday or next week. I'll let y'all know, and I'll keep y'all posted. But however, Don't forget, Stand and Deliver is April 19th. That's this Saturday. We will be going live at 12 p.m. for the pre-show. And also this Sunday, we'll be going live for night 2 of WrestleMania 41. So don't forget that. That's at 7 p.m. So make sure you guys tune in. And we'll be going live for that show. And we'll be we'll be going live this weekend. So y'all make sure y'all stay tuned for that one. And get in the comment box and what do you guys think about these 2 videos, you know? Do you still think that Triple H is lacking a little bit? Or do you think he's doing a good job? Y'all let me know down below, okay? And make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, share if you're new. And I'll see you on the next video, all right? I'm out.